if you lose me, just let me know. I know you'll say, but just in case. That one. Okay, let's go. We'll bow. So. So tonight we're going to look at a little bit of Tenchinagi, so this idea of splitting and heaven and earth, basically. So we're just going to start with a really basic warm-up, but the first thing is just start with this kind of body tapping. You're going to go from the bottom, just lightly kind of working the leg. You can use like a loose, it's like a loose fist. You can use like quite a loose fist with it. Just work the legs inside, outside, work the knee a little bit, both sides, the thigh, outside. The bigger the muscle group, the more you can pound it a little bit. So just work a little bit. Side of the thigh, inside. Back, side. You get to bony bits, don't be too hard on it. So get to the hips. And kind of, okay, working the ribs. When you get to these bony bits, you can also use the fingertips. So like the ribs especially, use the fingertips. Here. Hard to do is the back, but see if you can get the shoulder, the neck. Get this lower back a little bit. Be a bit careful, don't go too far, too deep. Okay, just working the arms. Top of the neck also, so this whole part, all the way down, inside, outside, all down, and then the inside up. And you can use whatever you like to hit it, no real problem. To the side, work the shoulder, side, inside, side of the shoulder, very lightly on the back of the neck, super light. And then just onto the head as well. And again, you can use the fingertips, nice and light. Do it on the face. And then the face just rubbing like this. That. And then we just go to the arms. Do the same thing, it's just kind of rubbing down. What? And a nice bright red face, it's good. That. You've probably got a lot more hair on your wrist now, as we're not doing so much partner practice. It's all growing back. Here. Okay, and then just shaking everything out. Looking up a little bit, stretching the neck. And down. Okay, just working the hips. Big circles. And the other way. Twisting the body a little bit. Okay, down to the knees. Nice tight circles, one way and the other. Just working the feet, circling the joints. And just very lightly the base of the foot. And just coil the toes over, don't slam the toes down, just press down into them. With the toe. And just off the ground, circles, closing the toes, pointing them out, play a little bit with the joint. So shake it out, and then we just go to the other side. Just working the joints. A little bit, and working the ball. Okay, bending the toes over. the ground, just working with circles, pointing, opening the toes, bending them back. Okay, good. Okay, we're gonna look at this kind of idea of Tenshinage, which kind of literally translates like heaven and earth. Sometimes like heaven to earth. It depends on the context. So we'll look at a few examples of it, but I just want to do a few of these exercises, which are these kind of foundation exercises. So what they do is really emphasize the ground and they emphasize the length through the spine. So this kind of lengthening and the compression to the ground. So I'm just going to start like just wide, just a little bit wider than shoulder width. Most of you, I think, have done this before. We've done them on the workshop. The first one is just feel that the body drops down, sinks back. Now, normally what you do in Aikido is like center the body. What I want you to feel is you're going to drop almost all the weight into the heels. So it's as if you're going to fall back as you do it. So when you do this, shoulder width apart, keep the toes facing forward. And then what you're going to do is just drop the hips, draw the arms back. You're going to come into this kind of position. The key with this is lengthening the whole spine as well. So drop the hips. And in this case, I'll show you the knees. So you can see, keep the knees back to almost in line with the ankle. If you can get them there, what I'd also go is bring the knees towards the toes. So in this case, back, arms out. And what I want you to practice just is 3 breaths in. And what you do is like lengthen up, really fill the whole rib cage up. And then as you breathe out, don't decompress. Let it stay. Let the body stay long. So as you breathe out, you basically maintain the length through the body. So you're in this position, just 3 deep breaths. In through the lungs, it's kind of chest up, chin back. You feel the lower back really activate through it. Deep breath out. Okay, the next one, deep breath in. And on the breath out, what you're going to do is lengthen more and scoop the hands up. You're going to drop the hips back even more and reach the hands up as high as you can. Nice deep breath in. Use the breath to really expand open the lungs. Feel the spine totally lengthen all the way through the tip of the top of the head. Breathe out. Stretch hands up a little bit higher. Reach the hips back a little bit more. Push the chest out a little bit. And then on the next out breath, just going to drop it down. Hands to the ground. And bring the hips back even more. So the key thing now is don't bend the knees more and don't bring them over the toes. Keep the hips pulling back. Breathe in. Again, feel the spine lengthen, and it's as if you're pulling the hips away from the hands totally. You should feel like you're falling back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And as you take the deep breath out now, one more in, one more out. You're just going to bring the hands up to the shins this way. I want you to feel like a length through the whole spine. Tailbone. Stick the chest out a little bit. Pull the chin back a little bit. Deep breath in. Okay, bring the hands back to the original position, but you're a lot lower now. So you're much lower. Try and keep the knees back as well. So you should again feel the knees don't come towards the toes. They're pulling back constantly. If you feel the legs shaking, great. This is good. See if you can it's as if you're pulling the knees towards the center. So the whole body's centering itself. You put it into a really difficult position. You need to really recruit the lower back, the legs. Okay, next thing you're going to do is you're just going to bring the hands over the chest. I'm just going to go into a kind of lunge with the squat. Drop down, draw back up. The key thing is let the hip make the movement. And keep the chest up. We're just going to about 8 or 10. Nice and slow. Keep the hips back, spine long. Really feel you're compressing the body into the ground and lengthening the spine at the same time. The hips are flexing constantly. Up, down, up. Again, if you're shaking, good. Just 2 more. Keep the breath long. Bring the hands back again. Yeah. Just a nice deep breath in again. And then just slowly release it. You come back up. Okay, good. We'll do one more, which is like when we do this movement, and you go to like this position. We're gonna do it slightly different. Let me show the legs so you can see. What you're gonna do is like this. You're gonna go into a squat like this, but rather than go towards the foot, you're gonna pull the hips back. So if this is the leg, I'll show you this way. Probably better. This is the leg. Rather than dropping the weight here, you're gonna pull the hips back this way. The hips are gonna go in this direction. So you got like a triangular posture. You're gonna use the hands to counterbalance the body. So again, it feels like the hips and the hands are pulling away from itself. Lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the legs. Nice deep breath in. Out, feel the hips constantly pulling back. You feel like you're falling over, good. Pull them, one more breath. Again, then switch the side. You're going to pull the hips back, lengthen through the spine. You're in a really deep, wide posture. Yeah, that's it. So again, it's as if someone's behind you pulling the hips back. Again, chest pushing out a little bit, chin pulling back. Feel the lower back totally engaged. Pull the hands up a little bit. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. And just slowly release it back up. Good. We'll do one more, which is like a slightly lunge. You're in this position. This one's a little bit wider. Sometimes we've done this one. You're in this position. You're going to go a little bit wider. So you're in this kind of position. So the back heel's not down. The key with this is keep both toes pointing forward. So you're on like a rail track. The first one's just reach up. So you just breathe in. You can put the hands up like this, or you can kind of put the hands together, whatever you like. It's just that. And just again, use 3 breaths. You're going to breathe in. Feel the whole body lengthen, the whole vertebra lengthens. You can keep the chin kind of tucking back. Chest a little bit out. And you're going to really lengthen every breath. Don't collapse the lungs as you breathe out. Nice deep breath out. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to bring the hands back and you're going to shift the body a little bit forward. So key again, don't let this knee bend forward, so you're not doing this kind of lunge. You're really dropping the hips forward, just like this. You can imagine like creating a line through the back leg. So drawing the hips back, that's it. This is called a woodpecker, so if you can imagine like the breast, the woodpecker coming forward, chin's tipped back. Really feel the hips have to work now, so they really should be like squeezing towards the center. Nice deep breath in. You're going to go a little bit more forward, scoop the hands forward again. So up, forward, lock them together with the fingers. Again, keep the knee pointing, pulling back. It's not going forwards. Again, chest up, chin back. Nice deep breath in. Pull the hands up as high as you can. High, high, high. Okay, drop them a little bit. So they're kind of in line with the eyes. And then what you're going to do is rotate away from the front foot. So if the left foot's forward, you're going to go towards the left. Pulling away from the back leg. Okay, really feel the hips again. They have to really kind of squeeze forward. You've got a slight kind of spiral through the movement. Just let this one go. And then go again. Let it go. Go again. Let it go. And then just going to come back with the hands again. Just pull the body back. Go a little bit deeper again. Keep the knee back. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. And just come back into standing. And then we just change the side. Go the foot forward. Both legs pointing forward. And again, just breathing in. Lengthening the body. Again, chest kind of pushing out a little bit. Chin pushing back a little bit. Nice deep breaths. Use them to really create length. Okay, dropping the hips a little bit, pulling the arms back, dropping in. So you're really like flexing the hip, this whole part of the body. Again, you feel a little bit like I'm both falling forward and back at the same time. So lengthening, width, and chest out, chin back a little bit. Okay, nice deep breath out, raise the hands, scoop them up. A little bit wider, a little bit more engaged with the hip. Pull the body forward. Again, feel like the hips and the hands are pulling themselves apart. So you've got these two things dividing themselves. Nice deep breath out. Pull the hands up a little bit higher, high as you can go. Really engage the pelvis forward. Drop the hands down a little bit. And then again, you're just going to go to these kind of rotations out. Keep the body kind of rolling forward. That's it. Yeah, and if you feel you're kind of stumbling, this is actually okay. Don't worry about it. You really have to engage into the hip. Forward, one last one. Good, just coming back again with the hands. A little bit deeper, a little bit longer. Nice deep breath in. Deep breath out, and just come back to the standing position. Okay. Okie dokie. Good. Just shake the body off a little bit in the center. And these are great for like lengthening the body. They really do work the lower back. So if you've got like back problems, these are really great for lower back. They need to be doing quite a lot, but just working with a wave. So just let the spine kind of release. And use that kind of new sense of like extension in the spine. So after I do these exercises, really feel like, oh, the spine's really long, longer than it felt before. And just work now a little bit the connection down, so you feel really kind of stable in the feet. A connection with the whole lower body, nice and deep. So start to open it out a little bit, and a little bit to the ground, a little bit back. Keeping the breath going. A little bit more natural now, but use that sense of expanding the breath, expanding the rib cage. You want a really deep breath. Okay, good. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a kemi on the ground, just to kind of massage the back, really let it go. So just coming down. Yeah. Again, just about 50. So just do them in your own time, really using the hands. And again, really use these for the back. So you're going to flex into the hip on the way up, and you're going to really roll down the spine as you go. Not directly down the spine, but you're going to massage across the back. Using the legs to kind of motivate the movement. That. Okay. Good. I talk a little bit while we're doing them. If you think of Tenchinage in this case, Tenchinage is a kind of, although it's a technique for us, it's also a kind of way you can look at the body and a way you can look at how we interact with the space. So obviously the Tenshi refers to like heaven and earth. The Ten and the Chi. And in this case, what I want you to focus on is the same sense of lengthening through the spine. So you're going to coil the spine and then feel you kind of lengthen up. So at this point, the spine's quite long, and then you come forward into it. So you've got a really strong relationship with the ground. And just keep a sense that you can really elongate the spine, especially as you come up. So it's coiling the spine, or curling the spine, and then lengthening it. Use the breath as you do it as well. Okay, good. It's about 20 more. Just make them nice and easy. Do them at your own pace. Okay, good. And just coming up again. Just shake the body up a little bit. Okay, come on in. All right, good. Okay, so we're going to look at heaven and earth. The first thing we're going to, heaven and earth in a way is like, hello? Oh, Bob, cool. So heaven and earth is like you're going to split. So it's about kind of splitting things in a way. So you've got the earth part and you've got the heaven part, something splitting up. But we're gonna avoid it first because it's a difficult issue. So we're gonna first just go into Tanenko work, but I'm gonna go make it really simple first. So just like you do the first Subaru, draw the body up and just drop the hands into it. So in this case, you're using like heaven and earth, but you're using it really in a way with both hands. So you got the heaven rolling up, lengthen through the spine, and then let everything sink down. The key is the hips, dropping into the hands. So you got raising up, sinking down, raising up, sinking down. And you really want to use those movements wisely. So it's like raising up, really lengthen the whole body, lengthen, drop in. But just give it a try. And because it's Taijutsu, you can do both sides. It doesn't matter which side you do. There's no real changes you need to make. Okay. That's it. Good. Okay. So just one thing, try and get a sense that when you do this, that especially the base, the earth part, really make sure it's like earth totally. So that the hands need to feel like they've just hit the ground. Oh. So this is the feeling of like being earthed or being grounded, is the feeling like I don't need to go anywhere. Go. If I've got the feeling like it's somewhere here, the ground's somewhere here, I've kind of missed the point. So I've missed the ground, so it's like this. So the feeling's like the center hits the ground for gong, 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 gong. So the feet are already in the ground, the feet, the hips, and then the hands. Go, 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 go. There's this kind of order to it. Again, it always goes back to that kind of simple thing of like sourcing the movement in the feet or in the ground, transferring it through the hips, and then expressing it with the hands. This is like base kind of principles stuff for us. So just explore that a little bit. Yeah, good. I'm just going to move the mat. That's it. Really get the sense like you're impacting the ground with the hand. Go. All this kind of atemi work we've been doing. This is also the same here. It's like gong. There's an impact. Gong, gong, gong. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I have one of those too.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. So again, Tenchinage is also one of the shapes in the Tenchinage is like a triangle shape. So if you look at one of the models Sensei used for explaining Aikido, he used the triangle, circle, square. And this is like a original, comes from Zen, comes from a Zen painter. I'm going to show you it. You all know it. It appears in almost every dojo. Has a copy of it somewhere in the logo. I'm going to show you it. You all know it anyway, but you know this symbol. Oh, hopefully you can see. Yeah, you can see it.
Yep.
You everyone know this?
Yes.
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 Okay. Yes. This is from a Zen painter called Sengai, and he was from the Rinzai school, and a little bit. How would you say? For a Zen priest, even he was a bit crazy for a Zen priest. He some of his paintings, if you look at them online, they look nothing like this. They're like satire. So he did like satire comics. But this is one of his paintings he made, and this is called the universe, basically. And it's basically his symbol of heaven, earth, and man. So in this case, the square is kind of there's a lot of representations for it. I'll give you one of the simple ones. The square is like representation of earth. So it's like something solid, ground, four corners. The triangle is like a representation of man. So something kind of pointing with intention, pointing up, standing on its feet maybe. And then the circle represents the kind of heavens, or in our kind of language, the infinite, or something perfect or unlimited. So this was a symbol that was used like in Zen, and also Sensei kind of used it as well in a lot of his kind of dialogues as well. So he kind of refers to these a lot. And if you go to the original Saito Sensei books, he also talks about it in terms of triangle, circle, square. Now, for us in Aikido, it's like a practical application of it. So Sensei talks about like being triangular. So we talk about like hanmi. When we talk about like hanmi or being triangular in the body, and we talk about like circles in terms of like blending work. So when you talk about moving with circular patterns, and then the square is used as like a control. So the classic examples like Ikkyo, with the hips and the shoulders and pinning to the ground. So it's got something very solid. But there's lots of interpretations of this, but this is like heaven, earth, man. This is where like Tenchinagi comes in, where it's like heaven, earth, throw. Or in Saito Sensei's book, I'll show you this one as well before too much talking, but in this case, I'll try and find it. This one. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. This is from Saito Sensei's book. Saito Sensei, really practical guy. So this is Saito Sensei, what you find in the book. You can all see this, yeah, okay. So this is what it says, Tenchinage, and it just says heaven to earth throw. So this is actually quite an interesting thing. It says heaven to earth throw. And then he basically says the left hand is a representation of earth, so it's going to the ground. And then the right hand in this case is like circularly swinging up like a heavens, going into the heaven. So it's rising up towards the heavens. So he had a kind of practical way of understanding things. So, and then there's some, like you will find that if you go on the internet, you'll find lots of esoteric. And if you go into the Zen schools, there's tons of esoteric things about talking about the Sengai, totally. So I won't go into it too much, but in this case, we'll just look again at Taina Henko, because it's really important that this kind of root for it is here. So just starting with this, you're going to really like establish the ground as you go in. So you're going to just break this down into two moves. You've got the extension, really ground in that movement, and then you've got this circular rotation. And then just coming back to center. So using Taina Henko really like a base, like that. Really ground in the body here, and then rotating through into the circle. So you've got this like really solid base, really solid connection to the ground. I keep it as I go, and I pass it through a circular pattern. You go in, rotate, find the base. So this is like every kind of shape that we use in Aikido, that we're using terms like triangle, circle, square, really has them embedded in it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Good. That's it, nice. Okay, good. Sorry to exaggerate the down part. So when you go in, I know when we do Taina Henko in the dojo, we sometimes like this kind of thing. Just slightly exaggerate this feeling. So just so I can catch the feeling of like, I want to feel like I'm impacting the ground. So every part of the body goes like, boom, into the ground, boom, into the ground. Now from that stable position, this really centered on the hand, boom, and this, and then there's a clear circle. Yeah. But I really need the tricky part of Taina Henko isn't the first part, it's the second part. But I really need to have a sense that I'm actually coming into the ground here. So there's something like entering and striking the ground. Boom. And then from here, pass that through into a circle. There. And then you've got this triangular base to finish. So it goes like square, triangle, circle, in this case. Square, triangle, circle. Yeah. And really make the square part square. So if you go to this way, just watch this. This is like I've tilted the square. So when you do this first part, even this part's also square. It's like gum, gum. This part is like clear, hips, shoulders, and this in the middle. And then from here you enter the circle. You've already actually entered it with the way you move the hand, but this, the key thing in this is like this entering a square. The moment I do something like that, I've broken it. The moment I do something like that, I've actually pulled away. I'm pulling away from it. So just find that you're going to kind of get to this position, right in, and it's quite subtle, but it's like dum, and then from here find a circle, and then establish the triangular base. with the hammy. So you're really going to come into hammy at the end. Give it a
That
try.
is so cool.
So yeah, it's called. Okay. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to go back to this Sengai. So just again, if you look at the Sengai, I won't go too much into this, but it's a bit too theoretical. But if you notice, the shapes aren't independent. So it's not like you have a square and then a triangle and then a circle. They're not separate things, but they're actually embedded within each other. And one of the interesting things like Japanese paintings like this, they're not flat. So they shouldn't be seen as flat. They should be seen as like 4-dimensional things as well. So if you notice, like especially the triangle's representative of man. In this case, it's got like its foot on the square, foot in the earth, and it's like bleeding into it. And then it's got like the other end of the triangle is like penetrating right into the heaven, into the circle. It's going right into it. They're all like embedded within each other. So when you do this, it's not like, although this is like a way to understand it, you can go like there's an order, yeah, of going like I go square, triangle, circle. So I can do this like robotic square, circle, in this case, circle, triangle. But in this case, I want to feel that they're also embedded within each other. So the squares in the circle and the circles in the triangle and the triangles in the square, they're all embedded on top of each other. So it's this sense that I'm using the shapes just as a guide, but it's like they need to be working together. So just start to bring it in together now. Just make it one movement, and you've got that. But I don't want any of them to dominate. So I don't want the circular movement to dominate everything, where it becomes like, whoa. I don't want the triangle to dominate, where I'm kind of, and I don't want the square to dominate, where I'm like robotic. So it's about kind of find a balance between. I mean, it's everything we do is like finding a balance with it. But in this case, it's not like a polar balance. It's a balance between three things, which is the ground, you, and the rest of the space that you're in. So it's bringing these things together. This. So just play with it. You can go to the Kihon, you can make it a little bit more fluid, but just feel that what you are is really embedded within this space, the ground and the whole space that you're surrounded by. And just kind of get into it. Just play a little bit with Tiny Hinko. That's it. Good.
Michael, may I ask one question, please?
Sure, of course. Go ahead.
The symbol with a circle. Do you mean the circle in this direction? So with the arm, do I have to think about a circle with my arms, or do I have to
think about this? The clearest circle for me is like this one.
Okay.
So you see that kind of circle, this. Now, if I do Tiny Hinko in a way where I'm doing like a this, or I'm going in with something like this, jagged, I'm going in with something sharp, like this. So that can be resisted because it's just basically like that. Or I'm just stronger than a guy and I can push through into it. But if I go through with a feeling like absorbing into it, and this takes like a circular movement, and then that.
Oh.
The other circle you've obviously got like in the hips as well. So that the hips are making that circle as well. So that movement of the hands is actually something happening in the hips. It's always that kind of story, but it's like, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, good. But just look for like, the clearest circles in that front arm, but they're actually all over in a way. Yeah. And we could spend all day on this, but we're going to go a little bit further. That's it. Yeah, good. Okay, we're going to slowly creep into the kind of tension angle. We're going to do a technique like this. So if you think we can go into Marotadori, dropping through and finding this. This is a nice example to do it where you're kind of reaching out. We're going to do the form because I like it better for solo work. Think about Ryota. So you're going to use this circular movement I always feel like you've got a ball in the hand, so you kind of insert the ball. You insert the hips, find the ball, and then you roll into it this way. And in this case, you're going to drag that back foot in this way. And then from here, you're going to enter the hips in, roll the body up, and sink them down this way. So a much more active one now. And you've got really a sense now that you're coiling in and reaching out. So it's got a full sense of now Kokyu extension here. This, and then from here, raising up, drawing over the top and sinking everything down. So just give this a try. So you're working as if you've got two hands held, or both hands held. Yeah, that's it. Okay, good. That's it.
I need to.
Okay, I'll show this a few more times. Again, I need to really establish the ground, the root of the movement. So one of the things with like Tenshi Nage is because it goes like heaven to earth, it can be misled like I'm going up and then I'm coming down with it. So it should be really like, for me, it should be really like earth, heaven, earth, because that's the way it's going. It's got like earth, heaven, earth. It's got that kind of wave quality. So in this case, I need the earth really clear because I go to this position here and I really need the ground underneath that. Now, if I just raise the hands up without the center or without the ground, I'm just basically doing that. And then I do like something like that. It's very weak, it's very light. So what I want is like that. And then really feel that the root of the movement is that front foot. What becomes the front foot? That, and then it sinks in underneath this. So it's got this kind of quality. And then from here, this movement sinks down again. So here. So just get this sense like if you imagine like carrying a heavy ball, heavy object, you've got like this. And then I need to get underneath it, raise it up, and it's like compressing it from below, and then sinking it in this way. So really feel like what you're doing is like a compressive, extensive extension thing. Really tricky to explain. That's why we use words like kokyu and extension, but they don't really get to the root of it. That's it. That's it. Okay, so this is a little bit, I do this technique because it's a little bit working in the area where we're going to go with Tenshi Nage. If you think about Tenshi Nage, it's about like division. So it's about one thing going down and one thing kind of reaching up. Now we don't go quite to that position yet because what you're doing is like, if you imagine a ball, you're still working the hands like this. So it's got like this kind of quality. But in this case, you're going to go, this one goes under and this one goes up. So you end up in this position like this. What I don't want to do is go to this position like this. So they're both down. So in this case, imagine the hands are here holding a ball. This one rolls under, and by that process, this one goes over that. So I end up in this kind of position. And then from here, this one raises up, and this one starts to join and switches into it this way. So just imagine this first move is really important. It's like this one goes over, this one goes under. This is essential with the partner way because the problem hand in this case isn't this one. This one's easy. The problem hand is the other one. So what I need to do is use that to draw the person out. So this one's doing like a kokyu raise this way, but it really needs to be linked to the other hand. So the hands are working in unison. This way, this way. Yeah, and if you've got a ball like that, that's great. Both, yeah, yeah. You can also do this like a tennis ball. You can really do this at anything, but if you imagine holding a ball, any ball will do. But this is where like one will move the other, one will just move the other. And that just happens. So I don't even need to make that happen, but it's like that. Yeah, and in this case, just a bit bigger. So it's got this kind of quality. This kind of quality. This. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Got it. Yeah, that's it. Great. Okay. So that's really emphasizing the in and the up. And then you basically drop it all down again. So you go in, you raise it, you slide the hips in, and then what you do is sink it, drain it all down again. So it's going back into the ground. So you've got this connection where it's like, this is the heaven earth part, is the throat goes right down, boom. So in this case, the feeling's like this, so this one rolls up, sinks in, and then presses through the ground. So if you imagine like a big heavy mat dropping into the ground, and you're doing that with the whole body in this case. Yeah. And if you like, really exaggerate the legs as well, so you can really make this big. Here, here, here. So you can really get quite low with it, and it means you're really going to have to drop the body to do it. That's it. So it's not just kind of sliding through, it's like sliding in and down. And you use this kind of circular movement to like get around the power. So if I go straight into them, you're going to get blocked. So I need to go around the power. As soon as I tip them, I just continue, and then drop it into the ground. Yeah, that's it. Got it. Got it. There we go. Okay. Good. Okay, so we'll go into Tenchinagi kind of proper. Kind of strange because Tenchinagi is really a kokyunagi, and it's one of the only kokyunagi with a name. And it's kind of strange. I don't know where the name came from. If any of you find out where the name came from, I don't know where it came from, but I don't know. All the other kokyunagis don't get named apart from Tenchinagi. So maybe it came from the Daitaraya root. I don't know where the name came from. So but anyway, what it means in this case, we're just going to look specifically at the hands and the feet. So the first one, you've got this connection. Again, you've got a Ryotodori grip. It tends to be where we start Tenchinagi. And you're just going to slide the front foot out. And at the same time, you're just going to press that hand down. So don't worry about the backhand for now. Just working the front hand and the front foot. But you get this feeling like I unify the foot and the hand. It's coming out this way. You can do this both sides. You've got this, and then slide the body out this way. So just, it's like a kind of slice, but it's also got a really kind of sense of pressure down with it. That's it. So you got this kind of quality. That's it.
Michael, are you sliding off the line then?
Yeah, in this case, yeah, this is also part of it. If you imagine the line is here, what you're going to do is like triangulate off. So the first, when we teach Tenchinagi. For real base on triangle. What you're going to do with Tenchinagi later is like, I slide off and then I step through this. So you're basically like, you're triangulating off and then you're going back towards and across the line. There we go. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, and if you think of what you're trying to do with this, what you're doing, if you've got a person here, they're grabbing very strong, even if I just look at this hand, they're quite strong. What you can do, if you imagine pushing into this won't really work because I'm just pushing into the structure. So what I need to use is the weakness in the joint, which is this one. This one you can't really keep strong. So what you're going to do is use this direction and you're going to take it around to the ground. So what you want is to trap the person. So you're going to trap them in the feet as you go. So you've got that, and then you're going to slice out and you're going to add pressure into the front foot. This is to prevent them from doing this, bang, and kicking you. So you're going to trap them in the front foot as they do it. So you're going to come here, and it really needs like an impacting quality, boom, like this. Okay, so you've got like this. So again, it's got this kind of impacting quality. It's got like a percussion, boom, boom, without like pushing the hand down. It's got just an impact with the body, like this. That's it. That's it. Okay. Okay, and again, just watch the body. So you're going to go like this. Just be careful with this one. It's really easy to get into this, like leaning the body forward through it. It's not that the hips don't engage in it, but the primary thing is like, I'm going to roll it, I'm going to move the body. So it's really like body work. So it's the hand doing it, but it's the body like slicing in. So just get a sense, again, exaggerate the movement a little bit. You're going to go like here, this kind of position. What I don't want to do is like lead with the hand and I get stuck into this kind of position. And then I'm really easy to make unstable. Yeah, that's it. Good. That's it. Yeah, good. And this forms the root for the movement, so the next part gets easy. Yeah, good. That's it. Good. Okay, so we'll bring the other hand in. Just again, forget that hand, the other hand. You're going to slice in this way, and just let this hand be as it is. You're going to now reach up as you do this. So I'm going to slightly split it up, and then we bring it all together next. But you slice out, yeah, and then this rises from the ground. So again, you establish the ground connection. This, and then you really feel that you will curl this up. This, and the hand's going to do this kind of reaching quality. Again, it's like if you think about breath, this is really like a kokyu movement. So it's like this. It's got this quality of reaching, stretching out. Remember all these movements we did at the beginning, like reaching, extending through the spine. You've got this same kind of lengthening through the whole body. This. And this is tricky now because I need to maintain the ground totally as I do that. So this is where the heaven comes into it. Yeah. Okay, and if you think about this movement, just watch this. If I go in with the movement like this just gets blocked. So if you just raise the hand up like this and come in, I can just block it because I've got all the force here. Again, you're like coming into this part of the grip. So what you need to do is like get to this position and then this. So you're using the joint against itself. So what I need to do first, if just watch this, a lot of people do tenchinagi like this, and then I've actually split myself already. So I'm in a very weak position and I'm actually unstable at this point. So again, just break this down a little bit. We bring it together at the end, but get a sense that the first thing is the ground here. And then from here, from the ground, feel that hand reaches from the earth, This. And this is like going right around the, stop this. So it's like that, reaching around, and then just the final part, you're going to get that, and then just step it all through this. And this is where you go back into the ground again. So just work it with these 3 steps. You come out, reaching up, maintain the ground down, then stepping in, pressing around the back. So you've got really like a triangular move.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. Just really see it in like 3 parts for now. And I think we realize how difficult, I realize how difficult this is when I try and do it alone. And I realize how much I'm relying on the partner, pushing and pulling them. If I can't do it on my own, it's really a sign as well about the kind of structure of the body. Yeah. That's it, Keith. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and just watch again. Just in a sense, when you do this one, this hand rolling down, it never really leaves the ground anymore. So what happens also a lot is like I get here, and then something happens. I need to do something with the hand. You actually don't need to do anything because once you've got the root in this hand, it just stays, and then I just bring the hands back together again. So later, what this hand does is just either cut through, or it just wraps around the body this way. But it's just going to do later something very simple. But it's not going to do something like I get here, and then it's going to do like something like that. This is too round, you know. It's breaking, it's pulling me out of the ground. So I need like the ground. This is really established. And then the raise, this stays. And so it's always going to keep in that position down. And this is maintaining the person out of structure. As soon as I release that hand, I've got out of it, and I can get out from it. So I want the person to be all the way through. The moment I give them back the ground, they will just escape. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, got it. That's it, Keith. Yeah, that's it. Got it. Very nice. Yeah. Mm. Nice. Okay, we'll just put it together now in two. So you've got 3 steps. Now just put it together in 2. So what you're going to do is like this, up, straight in. So again, it needs to kind of feeling. What I need with this kind of way of doing it is really trapping the person. So again, if I don't have the earth part, the person's free to hit or move or step. What I need to do is have that sense that that movement traps them in the body. Now at the same time, if I'm going to do this together, what I need is that hand to be on the body straight away. And what it's going to do is trap the person here. And basically you can finish the technique here. You can just press them through down. But this is like, it's a feeling like I'm going to do this kind of impact. It's not like a Shomanuchi, but it's got this kind of quality where I'm like laying the hand on the person. This is a basic way to do it, but later you skip this part and it just comes like straight over and down like that. But get this feeling that you're going to go here, here. This all like comes together now. Or the ground and the sky, or the heaven and the earth. But really it's like earth, heaven. It's like earth, heaven, earth, heaven, earth, heaven. And then when you've got that, just do that a few times, like go gung, go gung, go gung. And then when you get it, just pass it through. You just take the second step with it. Just see it now done in 2. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just see like how much earth you can get, so how much extension down you can get, and how much up can I go? How much can I split them? So you're basically splitting the focus. You're splitting the energy between the 2. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. Got it, Bob. Good. Got it. Okay. The other thing is like, Osensei said like the mind should be triangular. So I read that as like intention should be triangular, and the body should be like passing through. So what you're gonna do with like Tenchinagi is like I'm coming off to the side, and then I've got the structure in a really destabilized position, so the person's here like this. All I'm gonna do is just pass the whole center through the person. So it's got a really like piercing quality. So if you imagine like triangular, first I sink around them, and then what I do is really like press the whole center through this. So it becomes something much sharper. Wow. You've got like this, and totally, I'm not, this is where Tenchinagi and Irimi-nage get confused. Irimi-nage is like getting to the back of the person. So all the Irimi-nages work by getting right to the back of the person and expose the back this way. Tenchinagi works by triangulating off and then piercing through the side of the person. So it's a technique done from the side rather than the back. So what you want now is a sense of like this, creeps in, and then this, and then I go straight through and down. So it goes like straight through them. Obviously what you're doing is you're passing the center through them. So the hands are splitting, but what's uniting them is your center and your relationship to the ground. So you've got the hands splitting, and then the whole body presses through it. So just play a little bit with this now. It needs to be Tenchinagi to be effective, needs to be pretty sharp, but I need to be like passing through with a circle, with a kind of circular pattern with the arm. It's got a very nice quality actually when you can kind of pull it off. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. I show you one common thing that happens with Tenchinagi. It's the bobbing thing again. So it's like I get here, bob, and then press down with it. So I mistake the heaven part, which is like the reaching the extension, with the body raising up. So I never want the center to kind of raise up in this way. So just so it's just I get here, and then whoa. There's a like bobbing through it. So no bob, not bob. Don't bob. When you do it, you go like here. So it's constantly like the center's hugging the ground, but there's no sense of like the center raising. The center of gravity doesn't raise. It's down, 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 all the way. So all the way through, it's going to be like pressing down. If you look at all the pictures of Saito Sensei, the center's just like hugging the ground totally. So it does this kind of thing. It never really like does this kind of thing. Just give it a few more. Yeah, that's it. Keith. Yeah, exactly. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. There we go. And it's just knowing where the ground is. So you're translating your base, you're changing it in a triangle, and then you're just passing through it. But it's just knowing where the ground is all the time. Yeah, got it. Yeah. Got it.
It's pretty cool.
That's it. Okay, and then the last step is obviously just to do it in one go. So you're just going to kind of go straight through. So there's two kinanagari forms for tenchinage. In this case, there's one where I kind of rotate around, and then I go into the tenchinage. So it looks something like this. I roll, separate, and then go. There's usually in our systems like two kinanagari forms. There's like the long form and the short form. The long form's great for practicing connection work. So just play with this also. It's like you've got this, this. So it's something much more, it's got this much smoother quality to it. It's much rounder, much softer. And then the other form for it is like the hand the person comes in, and I just do that. Boom. So you just roll straight over. They don't grab you, you go straight in and through them. So just play with these for the last 2 minutes. You've got like this really circular soft form. Nice movement to do. And then you've also got this really sharp movement, which is just like, it just goes straight through. So this is where it's like really piercing kind of technique. But just play with the two. And for these, the kinanagari, it's important that they're just one movement. So even the long form is just one long kind of wave movement. And the short form is just one like piercing skeet straight through. But all these kind of kinanagari forms they need to be one thing. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yes, good.
I appreciate what that is. Oh, it's a rollback.
Yeah. Okay, just one more minute. You can also imagine someone coming in with a punch, with a ski. So obviously you've got to do it. You can wrap around the arm, roll through it, and then take it and then press it through. The other one is you just forget the arm, come through and straight onto the body this way. So just play with these two. Also think you can get someone coming in to grab the hand, or someone just coming into the center line with a strike, or even with a push. But just get the sense that I either roll the line, find the triangle and enter, or I just go off the line and then go straight through with it. It just becomes very, very direct. So just play with these two. But imagine like something sharp coming in. All of them, both of them involve getting off the line. That's the key thing. I don't kind of come straight down the line. So all of them require me to like leave the line, establish a new line, and then pass through it. And again, you want this kind of heaven earth quality. But it's something much softer now. Yeah. That's it. For me, these go like perfectly into like wave forms. And you really want like the heaven earth now totally balanced between the center. So one's not dominating. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Let's do one more minute. Just watch this. Just watch this. I can also do this. Just watch this a little bit. I can do it like I'm just kind of passing the body through, like I'm kind of walking through them. Sometimes we use this in a dojo, like you just pass through the person. But if I do in a way like I go here and then I do like this, then I just kind of I just walk into them like a board. So what happens is like clash, boom. What I want to do again is like be a bit triangular. So as you come in, it's really a feeling like I engage the body through. So it's like I'm going to these kind of positions, and then it really needs like something that's like triangular. If I go like board into it, the arm will just get pulled out. So if I've got the person that does that, just pulls me back onto balance, and then I just take them down with something else. So just get the sense that as you come in again, spin a bit triangular. So again, in the movement or in this kind of symbol, is triangle really the important one, because that's what you are. You're the triangle between the heavens and earth. You're the triangle in between. But you want to be something that's quite sharp this way. And that's really tricky to do because I need to be really balanced and connected to get something like triangular, sharp, and like penetrating through. Just play a little bit with them. Just play the last few minutes. And this is not just like specific for Tenchinage as well. This is like, this goes through a lot of the other techniques. If you think about Koshinage, this also uses a lot of kind of similar principles. Something raising, something sinking. Just Tenchinage makes it very, very, very clear. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Got it. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, great. Great. Good. Okay, does anyone have any of the Tenchinage forms? There's only a few Tenchinage forms that you'll kind of come across, 3 or 4 maximum. And the rest are kind of Kokinage variations. But Tenshinage's got something kind of specific about it. No? All okay? Super clear?
Experts now.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Don't know enough to ask questions.
Again? Yeah, me too.
Don't know enough to ask questions.
Good. But if anyone can find out the origin of the name of the technique, I'd be really interested, because I try and find it, but no idea, no clue where it came from. So it's also quite interesting, like all the styles of Aikido, almost all of them do Tenchinage pretty much the same way. It's got a very similar flavor, so that it's clearly based on a very, it's clearly based on a very strong template originally from somewhere. It's probably from Daitoru, but it's got a very clean template. Everyone almost does it almost identical. There's very little variation with it. Not as much as like the Ikkyo, you'll come across totally different styles, but anyway. Okay, goodbye. Hi, domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Domo, arigatou gozaimasu.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
That's